So I'm in the Oakland Convention Center with my guy Chris Baker. Chris
What's
is
up, guys?
Chris is what are you
I'm a sports chiropractor.
chiropractic doctor? Okay.
Yeah. So I treat a lot of different athletes and stuff down in San Jose, California. Work on a lot of biomechanical, musculoskeletal injuries here, and Travis, has a lot of different things that he likes to tell people about on stream, especially with his ankle injury and stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of look at it, trying to eval bone spur versus just a lot of scar tissue and knots. Try to look at some of his range of motion. Try to figure out, what kind of things should he do on a daily basis to keep up with it, so he can keep jumping high, keep playing basketball,
Pretty much.
have longevity.
And Chris is a Magic player as well. So
I play Magic. I play limited only.
And he works with the team or site that I'm associated with. So he's looking at this for free. Otherwise, I can't really afford this kind of treatment.
Yeah.
I mean, the PTs that I've worked with in Seattle were like older, and science really changes. So I think that it's good if you can to probably generally work with younger doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This is Chris.
So let's check it out. Let's kind of see what we got going on. See if you want to play cameraman.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
So first thing you want to check out, just try to put your both feet up here and kind of sit forward a little bit.
All right, I'm just gonna set this here.
That's good. All right, so just relax your feet. So first thing, just ankle range of motion check.
Okay.
So we're going plantar flexion, dorsal.
It's more limited that way.
Yeah, and so
that's where it's limited.
And the ankle joint is designed to be a very mobile joint.
Yeah.
And kind of the joint change theory here, where your knee is supposed to be stable. The hips above it is supposed to be really mobile. And then we get to the core and low back, should be really stable. And it kind of alternates in that pattern all the way up. So what we tend to see is when the ankle's not very mobile, kinetic chain issues, anything across your knee or your hip or back is way more likely to become an issue if you don't start from the ground up.
Sure, that makes sense. Focus on the feet. I mean, I was in my room immediately before finding you doing myofascial release on a baseball.
Yep.
For my feet, I figure.
And that's great stuff. I consider that the toothbrush for the human body, right?
Yeah.
If you're brushing your teeth every day to keep plaque off it, because we know if we let it sit there, it turns into an overuse injury or a cavity. Your body works the same way. You overuse it through the movements of walking and playing sports, jumping up and down. Scar tissue builds up just from the response to injury and overstress.
Okay, well, what do you think about right here?
Yeah, so
that's from sprains years ago.
Yeah, so always check on the other side.
Yeah.
It's definitely elevated and raised. So this is actually an interesting, just anatomical site. It's a muscle belly for a muscle called it's just your muscles that extend these toes. So if you extend these toes, there's a muscle here that's activating. It's called the extensor
digitoris or whatever.
Extensor digitorum brevis in particular is like this one. So when I work this through this way, shorten it up, get right in on it, and just lengthen it out. Does that hurt at all?
No, that feels fine.
Feels good?
I don't feel any pain, but that's like a lingering. I was wondering if
exactly
that was a thing before that was a thing. So I was wondering if that one thing led to another or whatever.
It can definitely be a cumulative trauma risk factor, meaning it can play a part in it, but it's not the only reason why the other thing came about. The other thing could have been just like you were saying with your shot biomechanics. Sure, yeah. Adding to a lot of force through your legs instead of through your elbows. But you can feel the tissue quality is a lot worse here, a lot thicker, more rigid, and a little grittier. So this is an area, it's really hard to get a ball in there and work out. So this is when we do these ART moves where active release technique, you shorten up a tissue, get a tissue contact on it, and I'm not just compressing in, that's kind of uncomfortable. But if you get in just deep enough and then tension across the tissue this way and really shear it open, then you can take it through a full range, and it feels like a comfortable, release.
It feels awesome,
right?
Yeah.
So that's how we're using kind of like my thumb as a snow plow here, and we're trying to plow the snow off, which is just like toothbrushes brushing plaque off.
Presumably I have all this scarring, and that's something that I can should be able to break it up, right?
Exactly. This will break down, and what your goal of it is to break down the excess that builds up after an injury. You want some of it to remain, and the stuff that remains to be more functional in terms of just its structure. Like when you tear a tissue and you get it remodeled, and this stuff fills in, it's like filling in a pothole, but not just haphazardly doing it. So instead of these linear, strong fibers, like the original muscles and tendons, they're like a globular mess, kind of like a spool of yarn that a cat played with.
That's my understanding of why eccentric exercises are, released. Or my understanding is that they like break down the things that aren't aligned or whatever.
The fascia. Eccentric by definition is just lengthening the tissues out, and when you lengthen them out,
so it just tears the things that aren't helping it lengthen.
Exactly, it opens them up and it gets them to be, instead of bundled and tight and globular and balled, to be linear and opened up,
so
which is training them for functionality.
You
can
expect it to be painful then.
You can expect it to be comfortably painful is what I like to work when I'm treating people like this in my office. I want them to be able to relax, but a lot of them describe it as it hurts so good. Whereas when I work on this area, it should have a sensitivity to it that makes you elicit a little pain compared to non-injured area. If I go into non-injured area over here, you might be like, feels like nothing, feels like no pain, not sensitive, because it's not injured. So pain is an indicator that you have some tissue that's not at its peak function, which is good to know. I use pain as an indicator for that.
I'm gonna set this camera over here. I don't know how it's gonna pick up, but
so that's pretty good. So that's something interesting to see on this extensor digitorum brevis muscle. What we're more interested in now, though, is that limited dorsiflexion.
Yeah, and that's a problem for.
Now, what I'm seeing here, though, is actually a decent amount as you go through this way. It's got a rigid end feel. But your ability to go through like that's not bad. Let's check the other side.
It's less than the other one, though.
That's always why we compare. Yeah, so this one can get a little bit better, and it's not as rigid getting to that angle. So then just kind of feeling, like I was saying, the subtalar joint, calcaneus, below the talus, so the subtalar joint. When I kind of arch back and forth this way and this way, that feels good to me. It's smooth. A lot of people, I'm hearing really gritty and grindy, and that's like scar tissue forming in between the cartilaginous surfaces. In between every joint, there's like little thin cartilage, and you see it a lot in the knee. The cartilage wears away, and that's bone on bone. You have osteoarthritis. Your ankle feels really smooth through the motion, which is good. We're just see a little bit of a limited mobility in dorsiflexion. What usually causes that? Somewhere along this chain, the posterior chain. Could be the plantar fascia, the Achilles, the gastrocnemius, all the calf stuff. So that's where I'd look for doing the fascial stuff. So let's have you go flip and go like face down. So we'll look at the Achilles side up. So there's like a little face.
So, I mean, all right, here's the thing that's most useful to me out of this. This is fantastic treatment, but we don't live anywhere near each other. I can't afford this. I can't afford this in Seattle. So I mean, I massage myself a lot, right? But I'm looking for like what I can do that would be most effective on a daily basis. Like I could do for myself.
So you're great. Like most people that I'm teaching the whole brush your teeth, brush your muscles concept to, like it's new to them because there isn't a dentist out there for the body, in a sense, teaching these kind of preventative maintenance programs. And that's why as a sports chiropractor, I think that's part of my job, to get people to do this stuff. But since you already know a lot of that, you're like ahead of like 70-85% of the curve on what to do on that daily basis. For you, we got to figure out, though, if you do not get results, if you're never getting better, or if you're just kind of staying stagnant with your injury from doing everything that you can on your own, to me that's an indicator. Well, maybe there might be something else going on where more invasive treatment, either from me.
I mean, I'm not. Surgery is not a thing I want. Like, my performance is fine, right? I'm just looking to like.
Exactly. So we're dealing with more performance issues than pain. You obviously have good videos up of you moving and stuff right now. So, in some of those, we want to just make it as practical for you as possible. So here, flip, go ahead first here. Let's see if we change this.
Probably fine. You can get a view of it if you look in the viewer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Ankle's a little off the screen, and you edit and stuff like.
Yeah, I was gonna throw everything into one log, but I'll probably make this as its own video.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's mainly the left one.
Yeah, and that's super painful.
0 out of 10. What do you kind of rate just this pressure right here?
That's not so bad. Lower.
Compared to here.
I mean, the right is 0. The left is actually like a 4, okay. 5. It's like really painful.
Okay. Most people describe that as even more, but like you can tell you've been through this, so your pain tolerance might be a little bit higher than average.
Pain tolerance is high.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 is like my leg's getting cut off, so like 5 is really high.
Any tenderness along this tissue?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
So, I mean, all I felt was real just ropiness, a little bit more rigidity to, we call this a musculotendinous junction, where the big muscle belly meets into the thin Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
Right where it transitions, tends to be a little knotty. Just feel that little grit right there?
Yeah.
This is classic myofascial adhesion, right? And this is what you roll out. Now, those foam rollers are great, just like a toothbrush is great, but when you see the dentist, how much more clean and specific do they get? So just me going right here and getting on that, this is brutal compared to a foam roller, I bet.
Yeah, I use a stick.
And same deal, it's just a curved surface.
It's just not focused.
Yep. So I can use my forearm, I can use my fingertips, and I just have a lot of good nerve sensitivity with my hands and arms here to get right in on it.
It's hard for me to do it myself.
Yep, it's mechanical advantage. Like, it's hard to get on your own sometimes. So your job here, just breathe. Try to relax your arms like to the side almost too. Just try to breathe nice and deep and try to get into that parasympathetic state instead of, people hold their breath. They get in flight or flight mode and their muscles tense up. You just want to breathe through it, and this stuff will release. And so I test, again, like you had a great question earlier that most people don't even think about, is just that, what angle should I work in? Should I work with? Should I work sideways? Should I work which way? And here's the example. When I test up and down, this is what I feel. When I test side to side, this is what I feel.
Okay.
Is a pain sensation different for you?
Up and down is way more.
Exactly. And what do you think? Can you hear the grit and feel the grit?
And actually, if you go sideways on the Achilles, that's what you feel.
And that's okay. And we'll test it every different area.
I'll show you.
Now let me change. Now those aren't the only ways too. Check angles. So check angles and kind of spread it. And so sometimes I'll do like these little curved angles like this, and it just feels really gnarly in there.
There's a fat knot in there.
Fat knot. So this is just your lateral, gastrosoleus.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if I could afford this in Seattle. It's just pretty expensive treatment.
And some of it, the majority of my patients just have some insurance through their work. And again, without insurance through your work, I don't know how treatment through a lot of healthcare programs, it's not affordable. So that's one of my issues. I don't even have health insurance or anything, because I'm just kind of like you. I kind of own my own business and just do my own thing. But I have a network of chiropractor friends and other people that I can maybe barter with or something for some services. But to me, I think especially at our age, you're even younger than me. I'm 27.
Okay.
It doesn't pay to have insurance. If you paid insurance premiums every month,
it's expensive.
It'd be way too expensive for the amount of value you'd be getting back.
Yeah, I just hope that I don't get an accident.
Exactly. So sometimes people argue catastrophic insurance is prudent, but I think if you just paid whatever it took for some sort of...
If I pay my dues to be fit, then I'm not going to need it anyways.
Yeah. You're exercising, caring about nutrition, which is called paying up front.
Yeah, paying up front for it.
So then after...
That is crazy painful.
Crazy painful,
Right there.
I'm on it.
The thumb.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
So we're just shortening. You can shorten it out a little bit more by going to here. And then when you're shortened, you have slack through the fascia, so I can get in nice and deep without much effort. Again, I'm not trying to hurt you, but I'm just getting right in on those injured tissues that are sensitive.
Yeah.
Then we're just lengthening it out fully like that. So this is just, again, ART style. active release technique, trying to release those tissues as specifically as we can.
Yeah. Wow, that's painful.
Yep.
I know this is gonna make a huge difference. It's just
But again, just from feeling you, just from the assessment though, I just went for whatever felt the most restricted and movement-wise through whatever specific bands and specific fibers were just not contributing to your motion. You'd be running around all day playing basketball at Berkeley and feeling fine, but some of these tissues are overworked and not contributing to motion, so they're going to recover more slowly and just not contribute to the next time you go move and play.
Or just constrict me now. I mean,
yeah.
I'd like my performance to be way higher. Oh, that is crazy painful.
It's painful right here too.
It's crazy painful.
More than a 4? You started at a 4?
It's like really painful. That's not so bad. It's like the Achilles itself is not so much as where it inserts to the bone.
Yeah.
And it's painful also on the bottom where the plantar fascia comes up or whatever.
Yep. So this not bad. This is the Achilles tendon.
I mean, it feels
little
like
gritty. Feel that little grit, little snag right there.
It is.
So we can work that out. Your pain being high at the bone, especially right over the bumpy margin where the retrocalcaneal bone spur is pretty common.
Yeah.
That's an indicator. Then it's excessive bone growth. Why does bone grow excessively there? Just usually in demand. Your body demands the bone to protect it because added force has been thrown through that particular part of your body just repetitively from over time. The solution, though, I really don't think it is surgery. All they're going to do would be shave the bone spur down, and then cut the Achilles in the process, and then reconnect it.
Recovery.
Yeah, the recovery's worse than the.
My performance is fine. I don't want to step back.
So that's why I was telling you I actually have a couple patients with these type of bone spurs, and we only had it in our office temporarily because there was a guy from Germany who was just kind of touring and just trying to sell his product basically.
Sure.
It was the radial shockwave therapy thing.
Sure.
It hurt bad. I had it done to me, but some of my patients, it's designed to put basically it's like a little thumper and it just impulses right here. Kind of like anti-lock brakes. They can do like 17 times a second. Well, this thing just could pump right over this and basically turn the bony hardness of the calcium deposits that have been there and just melt them away over time. And it's really painful at first.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How can I afford that? I want that.
I don't know. See, there's a lot of different. First off, there's like a lot of different sports chiropractors or medical clinics that could have this machine. So you could research it, but I feel like a hospital that has rules and is regimented, you're less likely to be able to like talk about. But when people come to my clinic,
that's pretty painful.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We're working it. But when people come to my clinic, like there's something called a financial hardship thing that if you report your finances and stuff, you can talk to someone about adjusting your rates to what you can afford, because most people, again in my sense, I care about making money so I can have a business that thrives, but I also care about like if you lived in San Jose, it'd be dumb for me to say, sorry, I can't treat you even though this would be really good for you because you can't afford it. Because someone like you, once you get to know you, you really could benit from it. We really take it to heart.
And I'm going to be directing, potentially bring you new clients in the future.
So that's another issue too. If you have a bunch of basketball friends and you're going to be a good referral source, technically I'm not allowed to like accept that as payment, but you're just allowed to refer people to us.
Sure, yeah.
You know? And that's just a great way to network in your community, but it's hard because you don't want to like, I don't know, maybe tell all the clinics or research them and be like, hey, can you provide this service and I'm just not gonna pay you? And it sounds good, right? Like you don't necessarily want to do that, but you might be surprised. You might, that if people come like that to my clinic and they are personable and they're friendly and they look half as athletic as you, you could be an ideal patient,
sure.
And whether or not, dude, you're, you know, just older than being a student. Like, what do you think if a college student came in there and said that, and they told us, you know, I'm paying for my college on my own, and I'm going to San Jose State. Like, that's just a rare case, and someone that who's in my position would be like, you know what? Let's see you a couple times. You know, make a couple appointments. I'll spend a little time with you. What? It's no risk to me. I'm here to help you. That's why people do their jobs.
You know, I should definitely get connected, because I can just imagine how much it'll increase my athletic performance, because just treating myself on my own has made
good difference.
Massive leaps and bounds. And if I had a little more guidance, I can just only imagine.
You got a time check?
What do you mean? Oh.
We got that event at 7, right? 6:45. We're good.
This is a higher priority to me.
I know. The bounty, I can get a game class.
Presumably I could be late to that anyways. But, I mean, we'll go to 7 or whatever.
Yeah. So right now we're just trying to be really specific to the Achilles tendon insertions. The tissue quality of the soft tissues, the actual tendon here, I don't mind. I'm not...
Yeah, I mean,
it feels smooth. I think it's more like if I go like that, does it hurt?
No, the Achilles itself is fine.
It's when I'm pressing on your bone, man.
Yeah.
So, another common reaction, the progression of, let's say, stress fracture. You don't have that, but what's the precursor to it? We call it a stress reaction. And what's the precursor to that? Like, bone spurs are kind of a long-term stress reaction.
Was so bad for so long.
Yeah.
Even my walking upstairs was horrible. Like all these things.
Some of it you can see too, just with neutral posture of your ankle as it just kind of lays here. Your Achilles has an angle to it. It's not curved. A lot of people it has a curve to it. Yours just kind of has a medial to lateral slant to it a little bit here, which is kind of interesting to see.
The right one is like fine. It has sometimes presents pain. You can see up into the top left of it. It's like kind of funky. I don't know if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, this has kind of a medial to lateral tilt to it as well.
Looks like the actual tendon might be lower quality on the right. I don't know.
Doesn't feel too bad in terms of like hardness versus softness and how much it pushes back when I push into it.
Yeah.
How uneven some of the fibers feel. They feel pretty smooth in general. Nothing snagging. Some of this stuff.
Yeah. There's something in there. I was literally on the subway today with my...
You take Bart over?
Yeah, I was on the BART doing my calves. And
yeah.
Wow, that's so painful.
Yeah, breathe. Number one job during this is that breathing.
Yeah, I was trying to communicate.
I know, it's hard.
I was doing my self-myofascial release, like crowded subway, and recording it.
Oh, you did it. A little traveling video.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I figure that's like a good time to do it.
It's a good time to do it. It's downtime, and I always like doing things like that. Like when I do on flights, I bring like my little trigger point ball with me, and I'll just work on my muscles on my back, and I'll bust the stick out and stuff. It's to me interesting if just one person asks me a question about it too. Because I'm not very maybe proactive with a random person at an airport, but
you're not trying to sell yourself.
Yeah.
To a random stranger.
No, but if someone is interested in it, it's kind of cool to see. It's usually again someone who's an athlete who just cares about their body and is like, "What the heck are you doing to your body? What is that for?"
So these adhesions, how long do they take to build? Just like a long time?
Yeah, a long time. I mean, they form. It's just how your body heals. again, when you tear a tissue, like let's say you see yourself bleed in your arm, blood goes out, eventually scabs over, scar forms. That takes days to weeks to happen if it's a superficial cut. It's going on inside your body. That's exactly right. So that's what I use those Graston tools for.
Yeah, like metal.
I didn't bring the tools, but they're those metallic tools with a beveled edge. When you scrape along, you can see the scar tissue pocket areas and the capillaries that feed into them, because these little red dots will show up, and I can show you pictures on my phone from people, and it's really cool because you're breaking down all those blood vessels that feed into that scar tissue. And if you do that, scar tissue doesn't have as good of a nutrient supply. What's going to happen? It breaks down a little bit more easy, gets a little bit more soft, a little bit more pliable, and then you can work it. So basically, after myofascial release, whether it's self or me, what's the next stage of treatment? It's always dynamic mobility. Yeah. We've inhibited. Stage 1 is inhibition. Inhibit tight tissues. These are overactive bundles of scar tissue. They're not moving. Yeah, so do some squats. I'll show you a couple. Go ahead and stand up here. I'll show you a couple other specific movement patterns.
Okay.
Boom. Here, so I'll use a little wall space. We can use this wall space right here. Real simple, specific ankle mobility.
So where am I going over here?
Yeah, I'll just demo it for you. And then you can go here.
Still going.
Okay, you can just leave it there.
Yeah.
We'll just angle it.
Okay, I'll angle it so you can see what's going on. I don't know.
Basically, we're going to try to work on ankle mobility, and it's simple biofeedback tools you're using your knees in the wall. So if you try to pin your heels down and don't let the arch collapse, try to basically rigidly grab your toes and keep your feet activated, kind of like you're a monkey grabbing on a branch. From there, you don't let your knees pop out, you just, boom, try to touch your knees to the wall. I get this far and then my feet come up, oh, I'm too far away.
Okay,
get a little closer.
How do you feel about knees over toes?
Yeah, your knee should be in line with your second toe.
Okay.
That's the general alignment. So basically, good upright posture, pushing my heels and feet down, and I drive my knees to the wall.
Okay.
From there, you notice the angle at which your knee to your foot is at. From there, I go, oh, I can go like this, and you do repetitive sets. You just go back and forth like this. You're just getting ankle dorsiflexion. That's too easy. So I was an inch from the wall. My toes were an inch from the wall. That's my baseline. From there, now I'm at 2 inches. Now I'm going from here. Can I keep my heels down and touch the wall with my knees and not let my knees cave in?
Okay.
I can. That's good. So again, you earn your progression.
Can I ask you about an alternative?
Yeah.
Okay, so set this down. So here, actually, let me hold this. So okay. So I've done it 2 ways, right? This makes a lot of sense. But the way I've been doing it recently in the pool is, instead of, I want to put my ankle through this dorsiflexion range of motion.
Yeah.
That's on the forefront of my mind, my Achilles.
Yeah.
But instead of doing this, whatever, I'll put it through like this. What do you think of that?
Oh, okay, so you're doing your left one right now.
Yeah. So.
That's good.
What do you think? I mean, okay.
That's good, and
what's the difference, basically?
The general principle of what you were just doing was that you were lengthening it out and then barely taking pressure off it and then re-lengthening it out, and it was staying pretty lengthened in that eccentric phase almost the whole time. Most of the research I kind of read through was stretching. You want to take a stretch through an eccentric phase for up to 2 seconds max, and then totally shorten it out to like a neutral position. Okay, that's
so dynamic stretching.
Exactly.
So you think static stretching is kind of bunk?
Static stretching is useful.
But for a different.
Usually post-workout, post-activity as a cool down. But static stretching is actually very similar to like yoga or fascial stretching, where you want to stretch a whole line. Yeah, hold it for some fascial stretches and yoga poses 3 to 5 minutes. You get the best benefits. When it's this specific to your Achilles, after just doing some myofascial release, typically what we would be doing now is getting you prepared to go do some jumping in your practice, do some cut moves. You basically go do practice or go play a pickup game. And in that sense, you want to do 30 seconds to a minute of what these are called just like knee bangers or, wall bangers. Just be real quick about it. Just try to do as best form as you can and be,
So, I find this to be mildly uncomfortable in my patella. Like my knees.
Yeah?
Underneath my knees.